Hello, hello, dear Scorpio. And before I even began, I got the title for or the theme and title for your reading before I even began, which is the integrity of vulnerability. And as a water sign, I think you're pretty well supported as well by this. We just had the new moon in Virgo alongside a grand earth trine, which is going to frame this reading, which is for the first 2 weeks of September 2019. And then that's as we're moving toward the Pisces full moon. And of course, we're not that far in the year from your Scorpio new moon either. Anyway, so for the energy of Saturn and Capricorn, where might our emotions and our openness help us structure our lives, help you structure your life? And we got the Queen of Wands, which actually came out in the same spot for Libra, and I shuffled. So you may rely upon your own dear embodiment, your surroundings, your familiars, your habitation, your imagination, and your capability and your magic, and being crowned in your embodiment, crowned and seated in that embodiment, and trusting it. Trusting what your body tells you and what your body knows and what your body stores and how your body renews as well, okay? For the sun in Virgo, this is sort of, whoops, cards are spilling. This time, post Lionsgate and with the sun in Virgo, you have strength and heartbreak. Minor arcana heartbreak. Almost like the strength that you gain from that fact that you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable. Perhaps, just by being embodied as a human being, you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable. But that strength and grace that you've learned through this open-heartedness that you've embodied throughout your life. And now we're moving into new times that we all signed up to be here on Earth for. And so for Uranus and Taurus, what is changing? What is the herald change for you as we move out of this? I mean, it's been a 7-year period of a lot of upheaval, and then also we just went through the Lionsgate, which heralds a new 13,000-year cycle this year. And it's a rebalancing of things that have been polarized, including the masculine and feminine energies. Okay. Oh my gosh, the Fool, dear Scorpio. So it's an absolute renewal, and again with Joan of Arc as the Fool, it's an embodying of your sacred knowledge. I think of Joan under her tree, listening for her voices, and then using that to create change in circumstances for multiple people on Earth, in the most completely mundane way of like war, even in government. But she relied upon the sun in the sky, the sun in her heart, her own comprehension, and her own magic, her own familiars, and her own surroundings. And so you may do that. There's like this tremendous renewal and change, perhaps, in the way that you do that. Let's see where you need tenderness at this time. Where do you particularly need tenderness at this time, my dear Scorpio? As you move, as you change the circumstances of your life to better suit your soul's true shape. Lucy Hicks Anderson is a transgender woman who lived in the earlier part of the 20th century when it was not so easy, not that it is now either, to live as a transgender person. She did it, and you are living your soul's true shape, and really trusting in your own, and being tender with, being merciful toward yourself with your own methods of embodiment. You know, you're trusting and tender with your own body. You're trusting and tender with your own body, dear Scorpio. And then what has the opportunity to be consecrated in your life? A walking away from conflict. So as you come in to this soul's true shape, and that actually invites everyone else in your life to do the same. And what it also does is it allows you to stand apart from conflict in a way that you haven't been able to before, and that's not a relinquishing of anything to do with yourself. It's like being seated, as I said, being absolutely seated in yourself, and listening to yourself, and renewed in yourself. You don't have to conflict with anyone. As we all come into our own soul's true shapes, there's not a need for conflict, because as each person follows their heart, there's room for all hearts. Okay, and then where do you have the opportunity for exaltation? In love, in the offerings of love, treat, sweetness, companionship, magic in your life. You have the opportunity for exaltation. That's awesome. Have a great 2 weeks, and I'll see you soon.